I think this particular game against Brooklyn, I feel like our play wasn't so bad. We, in terms of possession, passing, all of those things that we were constantly trying to improve and create opportunities, I think we were okay. Not the best, to be honest with you, but we were okay. It wasn't like it was a huge drop off from the game before. Where we lacked was the hunger, the desire, the intensity, the willingness to um, tackle. And Brooklyn, that's what they're about. They're about intensity. They're about, you know, pressing in certain areas of the field, but they're hard. And I was disappointed, to be quite frank, with our approach to the game, how we came out, how we didn't respond to the way they were so aggressive. For me in football or soccer, it's eye for an eye. If you play a team that's going to be that physical, you got to match that physicality, or they're going to have the upper hand because no matter how good you play, and we're not at that level where we can just ping the ball around, physical teams. They're gonna put a body on us, and we need to respond. And we didn't do that, and I was disappointed, and I let the girls know. Um, Once we get that part of our game become part of our playing model or game model, and then we keep improving on the possession, on the pressing, on everything we've been working so far in during the season. I think we'll be tough to beat. But if that doesn't happen, we'll also lose games where, look, there's no doubt in my mind that we're a better team than Brooklyn. Better soccer playing team than Brooklyn. They have an edge over us in terms of physicality and playing hard and playing tough. We have to be able to overcome that because we'll face that more and more because teams realize, and I was looking at the stats, in terms of possession, we're second in the league. In terms of passing, progressive passing, we're third in the league. So we're right up there. But we have to, when you look at yellow cards, we're the last. We have the least yellow cards in the league. That shows you something. If we have the least yellow cards, that means that we're not fouling enough. Fouls are part of the game. You go into a tackle, you might foul somebody, you might get a yellow card. I think we have, I don't know exactly how many, but we have the least amount of yellow cards in the league. But that tells me that we're not playing physical. And we need to do that in order to overcome some of these teams that will come and they'll just say, hey, we're playing against a team that can knock the ball around, but if you hit them a couple times, you'll get them off their game. And that's what Brooklyn did on Saturday.
There with the schedule, and I know we've talked about how it's kind of been inconsistent over the last couple of months with games and then weeks off, but you still have 3 games in hand on some teams in the league, and for some that would present opportunity for DC Power to get back up in the standings. Have you talked about making the most of this opportunity that's ahead of you starting with Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it this morning, in fact. We have now Fort Lauderdale and then on the back of it, Carolina at home. We haven't really gotten the results at home, but we need to go, again, put teams under pressure, play physical, and then let our football speak for itself and get the results at home. And like you said, we still have a couple games in hand. There's no guarantees in this game that having those couple of games in hand is going to get you back up. You got to make it happen for yourself. And that was the talk this morning. That's been the talk in the last couple of weeks where we've been the team with a couple games in hand. And yeah, if we go and get the results, yes, we're right back in it in terms of being above that playoff line. And I feel we have a team that can get into the playoffs this year. We just gotta be a little bit more resilient. We have to have a little bit more bite and grit to us when we play. Because on the ball we're good. Against the ball, we have to be better.
Last question from me. Looking ahead to Fort Lauderdale, obviously they're a really good team. They've been a good team since they gotten into the league. They have some very dangerous scores. What have you seen from them on tape, and what changes maybe do you make to your lineup or to your attack to kind of counteract what they're going to present?
Yeah, I mean they're a quality team, and the quality is in their speed and transition from defense to attack. They're fast. They're high pressing. They make it very difficult for you to build out of the back. So, we have spoken about what our approach is going to be. Um, but again, I don't necessarily feel like our team is any less than them. They just they have gotten results, and they've capitalized when they get their chances. And there's been games where we haven't capitalized on our chances. So just being a little bit more clinical, and then we have to make sure that if they come and high press us, can we play a little bit more direct? Can we bypass that first line of pressure and get into that second layer and then build our game from there? We don't always necessarily have to, build through three lines. Sometimes, it's more pragmatic to go into your second layer, win the second balls or make sure that we're there for the second balls for the layoffs, and then we can attack from there. So that's been a little bit of our talk against this good Fort Lauderdale team. But in terms of who's going to play and what personnel is going to be out on the field, I always try to put, based on availability, and now everybody's healthy, everybody's available, I try to put my best 11 out there. And that's what I'm going to do again this upcoming Wednesday. Excuse me.